Follow the link in the description for your chance to enter to win a free $50 Amazon gift card or your choice of awesome t-shirt from my friends at Ripped Apparel. All part of my 7K subscriber giveaway. Enter today. Not seeing my videos in your subscription feed? Make sure you've clicked the little bell next to the subscribe button to be notified of all my newest uploads. Hey, what's up, people? Pizzal here, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about Umbrella Entertainment's new Blu-ray release for Electric Boogaloo, the wild, untold story of canon films. Now, this Blu-ray is bundled with Machete Maidens Unleashed, a documentary by the same filmmaker who brought us Electric Boogaloo. However, for the sake of this video, I'm just going to talk about Electric Boogaloo because I think this documentary, I think the story of canon films, I think the body of work that is canon films deserves its very own standalone video. Now, if you grew up in the 80s and early 90s as I did, and you spent as much time in the video store as I did, and watching cable television as much as I did from that era, then you, like me, probably look at the big three, as I call them. Logos that would pop up before a movie that to me were just the universal stamp of quality. If I saw that logo pop up at the beginning of a movie, I knew I was in for a good movie. I'm talking about Vestron, New World, and of course, Canon. And this documentary absolutely, for any of us who grew up in that era and loved the films of that era, this documentary is a must. Canon Films played such an enormous role in creating and releasing those films that I grew up with and grew up loving, that this documentary is an absolute treat. They chronicle in exhaustive detail the rise and fall of canon films. It includes interviews with Boaz Davidson, Toby Hooper, Sybil Danning, Mark Rosenthal, Robert Forster, Mark Goldblatt, Richard Edlund, Alex Winter, Lucinda Dickey, Bo Derek, Michael Dudikoff, Molly Ringwald, Barbette Schroeder, Richard Chamberlain, Dolph Lundgren, and many, many more. They tell the story of canon films, like I said, in exhaustive detail, the rise, the fall. They discuss how Menachem Golan was known as the godfather of Israeli cinema. At one point, Menachem Golan had directed 48 of the 50 highest grossing Israeli films. That's definitely something. He brought his cousin Yoram Globus into the mix to act as the businessman to his, cinephile, his filmmaker. They had clearly a lot of success. They decided to try that success in the West. They came over to America and they just started churning out horror movies. In the beginning, horror movies, then they moved to action movies. They basically introduced the West to the idea of the ninja. They discussed their fierceness, their love of movies and of making movies. They were the only studio executives that they've ever known who were also movie lovers. They ate, they slept, they drank, they were all about movies. And when they weren't talking about movies, they were at the movies watching a movie. They discuss how their lack of good taste was more than made up for by their enthusiasm and ambition. They discuss their partnership with MGM and how that just seemed to up the ante. They interview Frank Yablans, who was the head of MGM at the time, and he's like, I have no idea what we were thinking. We were having to release these movies theatrically, and they just he did not have a lot of nice things to say about Canon or Golan and Globus. And of course, that pairing was pretty disastrous. They discuss some of Canon's biggest titles, such as Death Wish 2 and 3, Missing in Action, the Ninja movies, the Break-In movies, Invasion USA. Those who loved Golan and Globus, They called them brilliant businessmen. They called them the best salesmen of the 1980s. They called them mavericks, people who hated the two of them, called them unscrupulous hustlers, carpetbaggers, junk peddlers, the Beg Brothers, etc., etc., etc. They discuss how when they would get a new script at Canon, it would go into one of two piles, either the Chuck Norris pile or the Charles Bronson pile. They say it could have been Othello. Either it was going to be Chuck Norris as Othello or Charles Bronson as Othello.
Bronson is the only punishment.
They discuss how studios at the time would make usually about 8 to 10 movies a year. Canon Films were making 30, 40, 50 movies a year. They discuss the eventual downfall of Canon Films, how they were releasing so many movies, yet they weren't getting back the money at the box office on those investments. They were financing and selling the foreign rights for movies that they never made. All that caught up to them, and they eventually went under. But they discuss just the overall legacy of Canon Films and how that legacy can be seen even today in movies like The Expendables, the company that Boaz Davidson and Avi Lerner opened up. They said that they follow basically the same business model as Canon, only they learned from Canon what not to do. This documentary is phenomenal. I love every minute of it. It's highly informative. It's also highly entertaining and in parts just absolutely hilarious. If you are a fan of movies from the 80s, you definitely want to see Electric Boogaloo. If you've not seen Electric Boogaloo, this Blu-ray would be a great way to introduce yourself to the documentary. If you are a fan of Electric Boogaloo, you definitely want to look into getting this documentary on Blu-ray from Umbrella Entertainment because it is loaded with extras. We've got a lot of extended and deleted interview segments, about 37 and a half minutes of deleted and extended interview segments, as a matter of fact. We've got an extended profile on Michael Winner, who directed Death Wish. He directed Death Wish and Death Wish 2 and Death Wish 3, the latter two for Canon. People describe him as being a sadist who treated everyone around him horribly. We get a deleted sequence in which they talk about the film 10 to Midnight, which starred Charles Bronson. I love that movie, by the way. They said that the film was basically sold on the title and the fact that it starred Charles Bronson before they had a title. That was it. They sold it on the title and they told people that it was going to star Charles Bronson, but Charles Bronson was nowhere even near the picture at that time. They did talk him into it. Fortunately for them, and the film was made. They discussed the difficulties of shooting that film, etc., etc. Really entertaining. We have a deleted interview segment about the film Grace Quigley, which is a movie about a nurse who hired a hitman to kill patients at a hospital who want to die. But the film was intended to be a comedy, and it starred Katharine Hepburn. We have an extended interview segment about the art house films that Canon Films tried to produce. They discuss Canon's exploration of art house cinema in order to kind of to repair their reputation in Hollywood. But they discuss working with directors like John Cassavetes, Franco Zeffirelli, and Godard. We have a deleted sequence entitled Tough Guys Don't Dance about a whacked out adaptation of Norman Mailer's novel starring Wings Hauser. We have a deleted interview segment about Firewalker, which was intended to be Chuck Norris's venture into comedy with Lou Gossett Jr. Didn't quite turn out as well as they'd hoped. We get a deleted interview segment about the development of Spider-Man at Canon Films, which is a film that never happened. We get a deleted interview segment about the film Street Smart, which was Christopher Reeve's passion project. The only reason he did Superman 4 for Canon was because they said that they would let him direct his passion project, Street Smart. We get a deleted sequence about Bloodsport. We get a deleted interview sequence about Captain America. We get a deleted interview sequence about Treasure of the Four Crowns. We get people doing various impersonations of Menachem Golan. We also get Mark's t-shirt collection, which is a collection of crew shirts from Canon Productions. We get an extended interview with Michael Dudikoff, a word with Frank Yablans. Again, he does not speak very highly of Canon Films or of Golan or Globus. We get Canon Films trailer reel. We get a TIFF red carpet report on the red carpet for the Midnight Madness premiere of Electric Boogaloo, with interviews with director Mark Hartley, Richard Kraft, and Robin Sherwood. We get a Variety studio interview with producer Brett Ratner and director Mark Hartley, in which they discuss making the documentary, the Canon Films legacy, Golan and Globus's status as Mavericks, and their legacy. We get a UK press interview with Mark Hartley, in which he discusses the rise and fall of Canon Films. He says the big three Canon films that everyone should see are Tobe Hooper's Life Force, Death Wish 3, and Ninja 3: The Domination. I agree with all three. I would add Death Wish 2 in there. I would put Death Wish 2 and Death Wish 3 together, but you cannot go wrong with those three movies. We get a Canon Films poster and still gallery, we get a behind the scenes gallery, and we get a theatrical trailer. This is a loaded release from the fine folks at Umbrella Entertainment. I cannot speak high enough of this release or of the documentary Electric Boogaloo. Again, if you are a fan of Canon Films, if you grew up in the 80s and early 90s, and spent as much time in the video stores as I did, or watching cable television late at night as much as I did, and you love the Canon Films legacy, you deserve to check out this documentary. And this Blu-ray is a great way to check it out, because it's loaded with a lot of really cool extras. I'll put a link to Umbrella Entertainment's website down in the description. Go over and check them out. If you've not entered my 7K subscriber giveaway to win a free $50 Amazon gift card or some awesome shirts from my friends over at Ripped Apparel, that link is also in the description below. If you've seen Electric Boogaloo, please let me know what you think of it in the comment section below. Let me know what your favorite Canon film is down in the comment section below, or what are your big three Canon films? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. They're also right around here. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.